Yes, Sir Hairless here. We are back with Forestella, their new song Armageddon. Quite a damning name, isn't it? I opened YouTube and this video appeared just 1 hour ago. Apparently, this is the third and final installment of their World Tree trilogy. The previous two installments were Save Our Lives and Utopia. Utopia is actually my highest rated Forestella song, so I am looking forward to this one. I'm told this one, Armageddon, is written by Valencia. That's the same person who wrote Utopia. Utopia was weird and wonderful, I think. I know it was a bit divisive. Some people liked it, some people didn't. I really did like it. So yeah, on the wonderful part, maybe this will be too. Here are the lyrics on the screen. There are a lot of them, so have a pause and a read, and then we'll get straight into it.
Survivor standing here lonesome as the crescent moon's fading away. Money for ransom, all damaged and then some. Now everybody's gone away. I'm closing the graves.
Walking down those streets where once was light, but now the wind blows. All became disciples, but one proving sorrow. Silent like the countless lives are gone before too long.
Okay, here, I believe is the chorus based on the lyrics I showed you in the introduction. It sounds like we're getting dum, 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 a chromatic falling bass line. If you've seen my videos before, you know that I love chromaticisms when they come. We have heard them in a few other places actually so far, including right at the start. When combined with the overall style that we're hearing, to me it's sounding a little bit James Bond-esque in places. Maybe you will completely disagree with me on that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe you agree. Let me know in the comments. Considering this is written by Valencia, the same guy who wrote Utopia, and Utopia was just very peculiar, wasn't it? Like I say, it's my highest rated Forestella song, but there were a lot of different sections and styles. I can only assume we're going to get that in this one, unless he's decided to take a completely different approach and keep things very consistent. Overall, things have been quite consistent in terms of the style. So while I've paused, and this is a live performance, which are very strict on copyright, usually way more strict than usual. Let's just go over a few things. Some of the things I found most interesting before we carry on. Crescendo in, not really what you'd expect. Beiduhun, his melody going up to here, this note G in the choral world. This is kind of towards the top of a tenor's range. As we know, he's their resident baritone, but his range is certainly that of a tenor's. We can hear in his sound that the type of sound he produces, the timbre of his voice though, that he is a natural baritone. That melody, the fact that we have this is that chromaticism I was talking about where we paused at the chorus. His melody is doubled up instrumentally, but now the strings, cha, 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 these staccato bowed movements, not quite pizzicato, which would be plucked, but we can agree they really add a sense of urgency and energy to the sound. Maybe that's why I got James Bond vibes, because of the brass coming in here. And then that is a bit more kind of fanfare-like. The choreography as well. Do I need to mention it? Not really. We can all see what's happening. Very interesting and eye-catching either way. Structurally, Forestella do what they often do, bring in one person at a time, and then they all sort of combine, hopefully, for a larger sound by the time usually the chorus comes.
Survivor standing here lonesome as the crescent moon's fading away.
Dum, dum, dum. In the bass, very regimented, and then the strings elsewhere. Cha, 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 cha. There's just a lot of urgency in the backing instrumentation, I'm not going to keep talking about it because we'll be here all day. These arrangements by Valencia do seem to be quite full on, very intense. Anyway, now comes Ko Woo Rim, their bass, and then the countertenor Kang Hyung Ho comes in, singing in his chest voice though. Just before that though.
I'm closing the grave.
Chromaticism in the lower line. At this moment, I was thinking, oh yeah, this is quite a modern arrangement, quite a modern song stylistically. I think we can all hear that.
Walking down those streets where once was light, but now the wind blows.
It's an affectation of how he sings, but the wah, 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 you know, a lot of the wah type of sound. Almost like a guitar whammy bar or something. I can understand that some people might not like that. I really do like it. As you know, I absolutely love Kang Hyung Ho. I think he's incredible. What an asset, what a range. And he goes really high, again, in his chest voice here.
Home became disciples, but one prove it so wrong.
And it seems so easy for him. This note here, that was the one I pointed out at the start that Bae Do Hoon was singing, but now Kang Hyung Ho is going up to here in his chest voice, so easy, and that's one note below, which is what I call the wow operatic tenor moment. And the great thing about all of them having these incredible ranges and different timbres as well, Kang Hyung Ho, for example, he's gone from this crazy rock tenor sound, and now he will drop down to allow their kind of resident lighter tenor, Cho Ming Yu, to come in. So they've just flipped, basically, allowing for the tenor to now be at the top. And it does make a difference. You might be thinking, why did they have to do that? Well, again, I think it just comes down to the type of sound each of them have individually. We can hear how light and almost fluffy Cho Ming Yu's sound is. And we can hear the bass line really kind of plodding away there, just high energy, high energy. Very static. The harmony isn't moving. We don't have any lyrics. They are singing whatever this vowel sound is, oo or o, a kind of a mix in between, with dissonance as well. There are a couple of moving parts in the whole texture, but we're talking about a texture with 10, 20 parts in there. So as some parts move and the majority stay, naturally you will get these harsher sounds, these dissonances, which I think it's like preparation for the chorus, which is where we paused, building suspense slowly but surely. Yeah, let's carry on with the chorus. Was that Cho Ming Yu? Right, I have a few questions. Firstly, well, it was a question I asked earlier. I was wondering, is this going to be compartmentalized into different sections with different styles? I thought maybe no, but yeah, clearly Clearly we've got that, and the different sections coming with the change of language. Now, I was looking forward to the change of language. When we looked at the lyrics in the introduction and I saw a section in Italian, I was thinking, oh, okay. In Utopia, we had Latin and, Spanish themed. In Save Our Lives, we had a bit of Latin as well. No Latin in this, but Italian is so similar to Latin anyway, isn't it? Much of a similar effect. Here is a rough translation on the screen of the Latin section, just so you can have a pause and a read. And while we're on the lyrics, before we go go into the music. There was this bit here, capella. Capella. Now, being music related, I would kind of default to a cappella, which is taken from the phrase, I think that means something like in the style of the chapel, perhaps referencing very old school choral singing without instruments, hence the phrase a cappella singing. But being a work by Valencia, and if it's anything like Utopia, with references to the universe, and, well, references to everything, to be honest, which we'll see in the next line. Capella here could mean the star. I know capella is a star. I'm not sure there's anything else that comes to mind with capella, chapel, again. I don't know. So if you know, let me know in the comments. And the next line here, you're the heart of Brahma. Brahma, I initially thought maybe they were talking about Brahms, a typo, but no, very quickly realized no. Otherwise, Brahma is a Hindu god. But again, I'm not sure kind of why that's here or how that makes sense. So please let me know what these two lines mean. That would be very helpful. If it's anything like Utopia or even Save Our Lives, quite literally anything could happen in this song. Speaking of anything happening in the song, I mean, this change to the Italian section, the change in the music. I'll match the harm we bet on this very rising, intense violin line. You know, things are intense, obviously minor dominated, so slightly sadder sounding. Put Kang Kyung-ho right at the top, at the back. He is the angel amongst everyone else, singing high in his male soprano, clean falsetto sound. You know, really, really high. Such a pure sound he's doing. And I think the change of language to Italian here, it just works so well. I'm sure they could have written it in other languages. When it comes to singing in languages, the language does matter, right? If you sing in French, for example, there'll be a lot more guttural sounds. Or if you sing in like Kazakh with Dimash, again, a lot more type of sounds. You don't get that here in Italian. There's a lot more r's and o's, those kind of sounds. Just look at the lyrics. Il mondo è sala il suo ultimo respiro. Excuse my pronunciation. I was even trying to sing along at one point, or mouth along, reading the lyrics down here. And the music is very thick and rich. We do have 4-part harmony, but the point here, I think, is homophony, just accentuating the lyrics. Homophony is where all the singers sing at the exact same time as each other, singing the same words in the same rhythms. It's not like counterpoint where you could have Kang Kyung-ho and then Cho Ming-yu and then all of them singing different things with independent lines. No, it's all about just stressing these words, stressing these lyrics. And the music helps as well. It's very kind of punchy at this point. Right, so that bit there, without going into the details of the harmony, I know that bores most people. It is strange. It's unexpected. The relationships between those chords, they are what you'd call tertiary. You know, they're not strongly related. Like if we were to hear, that sounds very natural, right? They're strongly related. But here, and again, chromaticism. And we have chromaticisms in different parts moving in like parallel harmony. It's quite an archaic type of sound. Before harmony in Western music really became very well structured, you'd hear that type of sound a lot. We could refer to it as organum. The difference now being is there's just so much more going on. So it's just like one little part of the puzzle that creates this really weird and wacky and wonderful sound. Combine it with the lights and the dancing. Yeah, it's quite overwhelming, really. That line there, it sounds like Bae Do-hoon, because he has a very distinctive texture, is singing the top line there, outlining a lovely major scale down. Typically, though, that would be Cho Ming-yu's line. Can you hear that? And I'm listening out thinking, well, it could be Kang Kyung-ho, the countertenor, in his chest voice. But the texture really sounds like the baritone. So I'm going to say that that is Bae Do-hoon. Anyway, there's one more moment similar to this, quite a standout moment. Super, super high. And I think it's the tenor here, Cho Ming-yu. We would naturally have to assume it is the countertenor whom we've seen go high so many times, but he just came off the previous line. Cho Ming-yu, I have been told before, also has an incredible range. So why not? Why can it not be him? The vibrato style as well kind of sounds like him. Really growing through the note and coming out towards the end of the note. Yeah, there's a lot going on here, as I'm sure we can tell. All right, let's carry on and finish this one up. If you enjoy these videos, please consider supporting me. You can buy me a coffee or hot chocolate, join our Patreon for loads of additional content that's not available on YouTube, or become a YouTube member for these groovy emojis and membership badges. All options are linked below, and a special thanks to everyone on the screen. Back to the video. Sorry, just quickly on ranges as well. So that's their bass. And he is, again, singing this note here towards the top of a choral tenor's range. In another quieter or softer song, this could be an incredible and obvious showcase of all of their ranges. But because there's just so much happening in this song, I feel like it maybe doesn't seem like he's singing so high, especially as we have these crazy falsettos that we're just following on from. In another situation, someone might hear that and go, oh, that's very high for a bass. In this case, maybe it seems a bit more subtle, so I just thought I'd flag it.
Just when you realize they're gone for eternity, don't you know there'll be suffering instead? Let there be some motives, they never die. Let there be days, let there be nights, 'cause it's really just happening over and over and over. It's just into the Armageddon.
Wow. The intensity on their faces. What a way to end. What a way to end. It really reminds me of Save Our Lives. I'll maybe put a picture of the thumbnail of my video that had a moment like that. It ended in a very similar way to Utopia as well, in terms of the music, where we see a tierce de Picardy, or as those of you in America might know, a Picardy third, where you have a section of music that's predominantly minor, so a bit sadder sounding, but then it just ends major, happy, very uplifting. And we can hear the shift of that. Let's go back to that moment.
Into the Armageddon.
That is the major third, which Kang Kyung-ho in his falsetto has now. So it's just shifted everything. Lovely build up. With Kowu Rim, the bass, belting out there, sustaining whilst the chords move around him, but he's like a magnet. The chords are trying to move and then they just keep being pulled back towards him, and that root tonic chord that we get towards the end. Yeah, it's just really nice, a really nice build up. We are hearing many, many more than just the four voices, and we have been for a fair bit of the song. Sometimes I point this out, sometimes I don't. The sound here is so big I haven't been. But for this ending chord, I was actually listening, oh, who's singing which note, and it's just a really, really full chord. So yeah, there'll be a lot of voices in the backing track there as well, but there's a reason for it to end on just a powerful chord. I was definitely getting shivers and goosebumps at that final chord. Really, really powerful, I think, especially following on from a section that we had before. I won't play it all.
'Cause it's really just happening over and over and over.
This chord building up, their dominant seventh chord. Whether we like it or not, it sounds like it has to resolve, so it's building tension. Things are still very loud, but not full out yet.
into the
Then with Kang King Ho, they become full, then they die out a little bit and now full again. Oh, just so much going on. Just so much going on. I feel like I've been talking for plenty. So let's leave that one there. Yeah, quite crazy. I'm going to need to listen to this several more times just to even try and get an understanding of it as a whole. Not quite as crazy and weird as Utopia, but definitely crazy and weird in other ways. Let me know your thoughts down below, how this one compares to some of Forestella's older stuff. This is one of their newer ones, which is always nice to see. And if you just want to leave an emoji, let's go for a world and a tree, because this is the World Tree trilogy after all. Hopefully see some of them down there, and would really appreciate a like on this video if you enjoyed and you made it this far. That will show me you want to see more Forestella on the channel. Thank you once again, and I will see you in the next one.